New at noon for you today. Grand Forks County Commissioners say they want a crossing arm to be installed at the site of a deadly train school bus crash in Larimore. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Lisa Bedeau. County Commissioners tell Valley News Live they are aiming for installation of the equipment to be complete by summer. The state of North Dakota is putting up 90% of the costs, while the county and BNSF are footing 5% each. 2 people died and a dozen students were hurt when a train and school bus collided at that intersection just east of Larimore. Right now, the crossing is not marked with flashing lights or a crossing arm. There have been 8 deadly train crashes in Grand Forks County. 4 of those happened near Larimore. Tonight on Valley News Live, we'll have more on what the safety equipment might cost and how it could affect other railroad crossings in the state. Fargo firefighters made quick work this morning of a fire at Brannick Industries. They got the call just before 2 a.m. from 4245 Main Avenue in Fargo and found flames in the center of the warehouse-type building. Firefighters quickly put out the fire and started ventilating the building, which they say took longer than usual because of the large size of the building. Brannick Industries makes automotive tools and tire equipment. It's a fairly quiet weather day. Besides a little fresh dusting of snow from time to time. Let's check in with meteorologist Mick Kerr to see what we can expect as we're now halfway through the work week.
Yeah, and that fresh dusting of snow has provided us with a couple of slick spots in and around the Fargo-Moorhead area even. And look at our CorwinAuto.com Skycam shaking around a little bit. We have a north wind about 10 to 20 to 25. It's a cold front that's going through today, and it is along this cold front generating a little bit of light snow. More so the snow is falling out there in central North Dakota down into northeastern South Dakota. And here's a look at the last 2 hours of history for that snow. It looks like it's getting set to wrap itself up around the Fargo-Moorhead area. Southern Clay, southeastern Cass County, a little more in the snowfall area. Winds 14 to 16 miles an hour out of the north-northwest. 10 in Grand Forks, 18 Fargo, a whopping 3 degrees. It's above zero, though, in Hallock, Lisa. So we'll come back in about 10 minutes and show you what kind of weather we can expect tomorrow when a warm front comes through.
Okay. Looking forward to that. Thank you, Mick. State lawmakers are meeting right now in Bismarck to discuss goals to reduce tobacco use in North Dakota. The American Lung Association released a report today where they outlined 3 specific goals for North Dakota, including raising the state cigarette tax to $2 a pack, restricting the sale of e-cigarettes to minors, and keeping the state's prevention and control programs fully funded while maintaining the smoke-free law put into place in 2012. The city of Glendive, Montana, is trucking in water for people to drink after an oil pipeline spill in the Yellowstone River contaminated the town's water supply. People living there say they were left in the dark about the spill and say they actually weren't even notified until 2 days after the accident. Officials detected the cancer-causing component benzene in public water supplies. The Centers for Disease Control say levels are above those recommended for long-term consumption, but say they do not pose a short-term health hazard. Investigators still aren't sure how much crude oil leaked into the river. Funeral services will be held this afternoon for a college student from Barnesville who died after a seizure over the weekend. People at Mayville State University said their goodbyes to Matt Holland yesterday. He was a tight end on the Comets football team. His coach is remembering the smile that he says never left Matt's face.
But I could always count on Matt showing up to meetings and saying something goofy to me in a meeting, making me smile. I may forget his ability on the football field, but I'll never forget what kind of person he was. We're all blessed to have known him.
Visitation will be held from 1 to 2 this afternoon at Barnesville High School before the funeral, which starts at 2 o'clock. School bullying is a hot topic, and that's why Fargo school leaders might be a little confused about what happened last night. They hosted a special seminar for parents on bullying, but only 5 people showed up.
I think people are very overwhelmed with their lives in general, and they just have a hard time prioritizing.
Sadly enough, I do think that depends on the parents, their self-confidence, their sense of self-worth, their knowledge of what resources are available. You know, it's a generational thing.
Parents who did attend talked about how to define bullying. They say it needs to be a behavior that's mean on purpose, a repeated action, and for a balance of power. North Dakota lawmakers are considering changing new DUI laws just passed in the last legislative session. They're looking at a bill related to double jeopardy. It ensures drivers get only one administrative suspension per driving offense. The bill would also change the mandate for the 24/7 sobriety program for juveniles to be left at the court's discretion. A North Dakota bill to give immunity to people who contact police or emergency responders when someone is overdosing has passed the Senate and now heads to the House. Up to 3 people could be immune from criminal prosecution if they contact authorities and provide information needed to help a person. Supporters say it will save lives because some people often take off and don't help because they're worried they'll get in trouble with the law. President Obama hits the road today to promote the policy ideas he laid out in last night's State of the Union address. He's talking about free tuition for community college, more emphasis on high-tech jobs, and tax cuts to benefit the middle class. President Obama also promised to veto any rollback of his immigration plan, Obamacare, or Wall Street regulation.